What's up with the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. Before we get in this video, definitely want to say thank you for all the prayers that y'all have, for myself, my family, 2-year-old daughter. Y'all haven't seen, what happened. It's on my communities tab post. But definitely, want to say that it definitely was pretty wild. I couldn't really watch. I was, like I said, I was, at the hospital last night. But I did see some stuff, today, and it's pretty wild, especially how these two individuals, I don't know how to say her last name, Rashida Tlaib, I don't really know how to, and then you got Ilan Omar. It says right here, President Trump calls for Ilan and Rashida to be deported as fast as possible, and I will explain why. You literally have here, this is truly like, I find it to believe very childish, very unprofessional. I should say very childish, very unprofessional. Just seeing her face and how she's looking, how Ilhan Omar is looking, very unprofessional. Says here that Representative Rashida supports a F-ICE. This is a pin that she's wearing. At President Trump's 2026 State of the Union address. Says you have Ilan and Rashida were seen shouting several times during the president's address and reportedly departed the speech early, which is, again, this, I'm going to say, I really can't say that I'm surprised about it. But seeing the position that these two individuals are in, I guess I'd say that I'm a little surprised. And I see that, you have released effing fouls or something like that, another pin that she's wearing. I guess I can say that, but I'm definitely not surprised of them leaving early. Definitely say that. One thing about it, this is how I guess it all started. And it's true. I mean, this is not nothing that, it's a lie. This is just facts that he said, and, Ilan was triggered by it.
We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates. We'll balance our
and again, this is all true. Everything's true is what he's saying, and it's very, very, crazy that you have individuals that support somebody that's acting like, and they weren't the only ones that was acting like this. They weren't the only ones. This is the video that y'all hear, Ilan Omar, I'm sure many of y'all have seen, says Ilan. This is actually my first time seeing this whole video, as well. I'm going to read you what President Trump says, and then I'm going to play the video. Give me 2 seconds. Let me pull this up. It says, when you watch low IQ Ilan Omar and Rashida as they scream uncontrollably last night at their very elegant State of the Union, such an important and beautiful event, they had the bulging, bloodshot eyes of crazy people, lunatics, mentally deranged, and sick, who, frankly, look like they should be institutionalized. When people can behave like that and knowing that they're crooked and corrupt politicians, that's why I said, me personally, I was surprised by that, seeing they're already being, investigated in what's going on. But then again, part of me can't be surprised because they act like children when it comes down to it. Says, so bad for our country, we should send them back from where they came from as fast as possible. They can only damage the United States of America. They can do nothing to help it. They should actually get on a boat with Trump to arrange Robert De Niro, another sick and demented person with, I believe, an extremely low IQ, who has absolutely no idea what he's doing or saying, some of which is seriously criminal. When I watched him break down in tears last night, much like a child would do, who is right now in Ireland trying to figure out how to come back into our beautiful United States. The only difference between De Niro and Rosie is that she is completely somewhat smarter than him, which isn't saying much. The good news is that America is now bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before, and is driving them absolutely crazy. President Donald J. Trump. I'm not gonna lie to that post. This post is probably one of this is a great post. Me personally, just reading that back, that's a fire post. We'll play this video of Ilhan Omar going crazy like an absolute child.
The sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Definitely. It's very, very unprofessional just seeing how crazy she's acting. Look at this. Look at that. You're that mad and bitter. Very unprofessional, if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, like me personally, like I don't care, like whoever you are, like doing something like this is very unprofessional. It don't matter. You shouldn't be screaming and hollering. That's just how I feel about it. You have Ilan Omar defending her outburst during the State of the Union, where she has screamed at President Trump. Like, let me see, check it out.
Reported before that speech that the House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries advised your caucus, the Democratic members, to either skip the State of the Union address or sit there in silence. Should you have just boycotted the address, and do you think you violated the guidelines set out by your own leader?
No, I think it was really unavoidable. The president talked about protecting Americans, and I just had to remind him that his administration was responsible for killing 2 of my constituents.
In Minneapolis, many members reported before.
I have to do right by saying the right things on this platform, because just looking at her just makes me it makes me angry. It literally makes me angry. Like that like how and I don't want to make it out to be that I'm being mean, I'm being a bag or anything like that. Renee Good, what is his name? I forgot the other guy's name. And it's probably because I'm not feeling too well. But y'all know what I'm talking. The 2 individuals in Minnesota. Like I've said before, it really truly would have been a different situation seeing if they didn't do what they were doing. And they listened. Me personally. And we can go on and on about that. Y'all know the truth about that. I shouldn't even have to. Y'all know what I'm saying. And I'm glad y'all do. I'm glad, it's like I've been saying, a lot of this is common sense. Truly common sense. This is Greg Gutfeld on Ilan Omar. Check it out, y'all.
I have to point out Ilhan Omar. She repulses me, and I'm trying to find out why, because she's not unattractive. She has an unusual amount and kind of anger. Mm-hmm. She has no right to that level of rage in the United States of America, the country who gave her corrupt ass a new life. It's not like she's a homeless Vietnam vet who can't get services and should be enraged at the government. She should be kissing the ground she walks on instead of spitting on it. And her anger is also reminds me of the radical who, given power, would destroy you. She would show no mercy for you if you were below her. Like, the look on her face is somebody who would step on your neck instead of giving you a hand.
Exactly.
And that is not the kind of person we should have
in
our leadership. It's not the type of person we should have in this country. And if we find out that she screwed up on her immigration stuff, she's got to go.
Yeah, she should be thanking President Trump for finding fraud.
I have to.
She should be thanking President Trump for a lot. she should be thanking a lot of people for a lot of things. I'm not even gonna lie. But one thing about it, like I said, I remember saying actually before the State of the Union, I said it's a reason why President Trump hasn't really went in and said too much on Ilhan Omar when she brought up execution and he was a foul and this, that, and the other, making a whole big post. It was a reason for that. It was a reason for that. And he really still didn't call her out. He didn't really say too much, but, on that post. But other than that, I'm telling y'all, Ilhan Omar knows for a fact it's not looking good for her, seeing the things that's going on. You have right here Speaker Johnson on, the whole situation with Omar. And, again, this is something that I'm not going to say is that deep, but it's something that definitely needs to be addressed because this shouldn't happen, and she should be held accountable for a lot, not only this, but the fraud, her, the so-called husband-brother situation, everything. I'm telling you, check it out.
From your unique vantage point, what was it like looking out at Congresswoman Omar and Congresswoman Tlaib?
It was shameful, really. And I came this close to stopping them. We could have probably ejected them from the floor. But, I thought let their actions speak for themselves. The president handled it so well, of course. And if they'd gone a step further, we probably would have ejected them. But I think it was good for them to be there. I think it's good for the American people to see the shame that they brought upon their party and upon themselves. And what a stark contrast between them and between the Republican Party, who are standing and cheering for all these great Americans who deserved all this attention tonight. The brave law enforcement officers, military officials who received all the medals and the honors tonight, the victims of crime. I mean, we're on the right side of common sense, on law and justice, on security and American dominance and strength. And the Democrats stand for exactly the opposite of all that. Their record shows it, and their actions tonight, I think, really brought shame on their party.
It definitely did. I have some more stuff to, on, what Speaker Johnson, is meaning, because the way that they acted, and it, like I said, it's just not Ilhan Omar and Rashida that acted this way. It's a large majority. Well, all of them, honestly. I can't say all of them. There was one particular person that actually showed some respect. And I'm sure y'all know what it is. From what I've seen, I haven't seen everybody, but I've seen clips, and from what I've seen was John Fetterman. That was about it. Everybody else, no. Just right here, J.D. Vance, and says he just announced that they're withholding $260 million in Medicaid funds from the state of Minnesota due to fraud. So that's actually pretty well. I like that. Check it out.
Americans. So we're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now, what is this going to mean? What this means is that, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota have actually already been paid. The state has paid those providers the money. What we're doing is we are stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against the American taxpayer. There are a few different ways that we're doing that. There are a few different affirmative actions that we're taking today. Dr. Oz is going to talk about those, but let me talk a little bit about the spirit of this and why we're doing it. So number one of the examples of fraud that we've seen in Minnesota that we verified that is just awful is that a program that existed to ensure that autistic children had access to some after-school services has made a number of people rich. Not by providing services to needy children, but by allowing fraudsters to take money that ought by right go to American citizens and to American families, and to set up sham businesses, set up sham clients, set up people who are not even autistic but claim to be autistic in order that they benefit from the money that's out there. Now, what does that mean? Number one, it means that a lot of people are getting rich off the generosity of American taxpayers. But more fundamentally and more importantly than that, it means that there are kids in Minnesota who deserve these services, who need these services, and they're not going to those kids. They're going to fraudsters in Minneapolis. That is unacceptable, and that's the sort of thing that we're cutting off with this action today.
And that's what makes me mad is that, like, people are choosing to, people are choosing to support these individuals that are literally not even looking out for them. Those same people that are so-called, they're doing these protests and they're saying this, saying that, and loving Ilhan Omar, loving Tim Walz. These individuals truly do not care. They truly do not care about you. They care more so about, first of all, if we talking about Minnesota, they care about Somalians more than anybody. So if you're not Somalian, then I'm telling you, like, they truly do not care. And it truly shows.
Let me make one final point about the spirit of this. One of the things I love about our country is that we're a generous country. We're a generous people. We take care of our fellow citizens who can't afford medical care because they're down on their luck. We take care of people who can't afford to put food on the table even though they work hard and play by the rules. We recognize that we're all in this together, and part of the reason why we have Medicaid, or part of the reason why we have food stamps, part of the reason why we have these programs is we want to make sure that kids who grow up in families not all that different from the family that I grew up in, that they have access to the basic necessities: food, medical care, after-school services when their family needs them but they're unable to pay. What's happening in Minneapolis, in California, in a number of states all across our country is that the generosity and the good hearts of our fellow Americans are being taken advantage of. We're taking that social contract that says that our American citizens, we take care of one another, and we're allowing a few bad actors to get rich off that generosity of spirit instead of providing the services to the kids who need it. This is disgraceful. It has happened for too long. Far too many people have gotten rich by taking what is the best of the American spirit and getting rich off of it instead of providing services to kids who need it.
Come on now. Speaking straight facts.
Americans.
Speaking straight facts when it comes down to it, and that's what I love. Truly love. You literally have a vice president that's actually out here speaking, doing work. One thing about it, I truly love, this administration, and what they're doing. I truly hope, that they hold individuals accountable for what they've been doing, and stuff for stuff not to be swept up on the rug, for things to get done, for it to be more action. You know what I mean? But other than that, I definitely love, that things are getting done, and situated. Definitely love. Says right here, President Trump is right. Ilan Omar is crazy. Watch Omar's reaction when asked if she's packing her bags and heading back to Somalia. Check it out.
Congresswoman, do you agree with President Trump's assumption that you married your brother to get citizenship? Have you begun packing your bags for Somalia yet, Congresswoman Omar?
Not going anywhere.
So you're not?
No, don't waste your energy on me.
Do you have a message for President Trump?
I will be here probably longer than Trump.
Wait, do you have a message for President Trump?
I'm like a quarter of his age.
Let me explain.
Do you have
something.
anything else you'd like to say?
Why do they keep saying, I'm a quarter of his age, and I'm like that? It truly doesn't, and I'm not trying to make it sound bad, but it truly doesn't mean that saying that, like, by age, like, and then especially that, like, that's sickening even to say. That's sickening even to say. Like, you can say anything else, but that's something that's sick to say, to wish that upon somebody. I could never do that. Don't ever, like, that's, God is watching, man. You can't wish that on somebody. Definitely sickening for her to even say that.
Losing his mind. I don't know why he's obsessed with me.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Congresswoman.
Yeah, I hope he gets help.
Thank you.
Sickening, if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely sickening. Got it right here. Says Dems couldn't even bother to stand and applaud a 5-year-old. Her name is Delilah, I'm pretty sure. A girl who was nearly unalived when an illegal alien behind the wheel smashed into her. They all sat there. They wouldn't stand. They didn't clap. and they definitely, obviously, pretended not to care.
And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Definitely sickening for these individuals to not stand, you know, for this little girl. I'm not gonna lie. And I wanted to show y'all something else. Okay, so that's my next. After this, I'm gonna show y'all what I mean by that, because it's definitely sad. It's after this. I wanted to put this video in particular. This is Benny Johnson, but it just shows you how Rudy Giuliani. Pretty sure I said it. Hopefully I said his name right. Builds the case on how you'll prosecute and deport Ilhan Omar, and it sounds magnificent. Check it out.
I didn't actually know that you had such a rich immigration background. Perhaps you could give us just a quick takeaway on what you think is going on with Ilhan Omar. I mean, it seems pretty demonstrable that there have been quite a few immigration crimes that her and her family have committed. She comes from a very, very dark and mysterious background in Somalia. Many people saying that her family is war criminals and so on. How exactly would you investigate Ilhan Omar?
I think it would be pretty easy, actually. I mean, first you get all the documents that presently exist. Probably in Somalia there aren't too many good records, I wouldn't think. It seems like a pretty strong allegation that she was married at some point to her brother. Now, here's the interesting part, as I remember it. Her brother would be deportable for immigration fraud. But if you marry a citizen and it's fraud for them, even if you're naturalized, I'm not sure you can take away citizenship on that basis. You certainly can prosecute and put her in jail for it. Is she guilty of that? I don't know. It's never been seriously investigated. There's an awful lot of facts that you've collected, I've collected, but are they real? Can you prove them? It sounds like the odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, her involvement in this fraud, it could be a coincidence that she's worth nothing. The community steals between $1 and $9 billion based on legislation she passed, and she becomes a multimillionaire. The last time I saw that fraud being a coincidence, I was about 2 years old, and wasn't able to think. As a prosecutor, I smell it. I mean, what can I tell you? $9 billion into a crooked community. The person who helped pass the law that made it possible to do that, she goes from being a pauper to one of the richest people in the community.
Exactly.
And the husband's business doesn't grow during that period of time. I don't know. I would certainly think it was a good devotion of prosecutorial resources to put 3 or 4 of my best people on that and see what we could come out with. And if we didn't come out with a fraud, okay, we're not going to prosecute an innocent person.
And I feel like that's definitely smooth. Somebody actually commented down here, said, Pam Bondi, why don't you give Rudy a call? He can walk you through the process. And me personally, I don't feel like this is something that is easy to do. And I'm not using an excuse for nobody. I don't feel like this is something that's easy to do. But I truly feel as if this is something that you can do. Seeing how bad it has gotten with Ilhan Omar, with her husband, of what they're doing. You just don't pop out and have this much money in different banks and this, that, and the other. Like, that stuff just doesn't happen. The amount of money and like and it all makes sense. I mean, just think about this. If you have multiple individuals that have these so-called businesses, these fake businesses in Minnesota, and they're driving around new cars, jewelry, this, that, and the other, what do you think Ilhan Omar and all of them have? Way more greater and better things that they have. Way more money than they have. I'm telling y'all, it's definitely sickening. This video right here, though, I wanted to show y'all. This is another post by Benny Johnson. Y'all go check it out. President Trump says, stand if you agree. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Just watch what Democrats do. And this right here goes to show y'all how much they truly care about Americans. They don't at all. They don't care about Americans at all. They care more so about illegal aliens. I'm telling y'all. And it's definitely sickening. People need to see this. People need to realize this. Check it out.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Look at all them sitting down. Sickening. You see this whole section right, what I want to say, they're standing, it looks like right here. This whole section over here, nobody standing. So not right here, but this whole section. Sit down. Truly disgusting. Truly disgusting. Now you can just tell how irritated President Trump is just by looking. Like, this is disgusting. They truly don't care. It literally just goes to show y'all again that they truly do not care about Americans whatsoever. It's not me sitting there over exaggerating. It's not me just saying this, say that. They truly do not care, and it truly shows. I'm not gonna lie. It truly shows. We see it, you know, each and every day, you know. But just seeing it here from everybody, you know, we would see it. We would see it, you know. We would see it from different individuals each and every day. You know, I would go over it and be like, oh, well, this individual don't care. When you actually see every last one of these individuals that's just sitting there and not putting America first, goes to show y'all. And this is definitely not literally, but this is going to hurt. I'm telling you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Let me know your comments and thoughts on this. Stay tuned for the next video dropping tonight. Catch y'all next one.